Hello, everybody, and welcome to Muscle Central. I'm Michael Diamond. I'm here with Ricky T. Anthony. Coming up in a matter of a few days, we have the Arnold Classic 2018 in Columbus, Ohio. Ricky, what do you think about this
Right.
lineup coming up?
I am very, very excited. As everybody knows, this is the second biggest show, or you could put it sometimes on equal parallel with the Olympia, because the best of the best of the best get in there, and it's a big money show. It's big exposure. I am excited.
Well, actually, this is the 30th anniversary of the Arnold Classic, and the way it's shaping up, looks like it's going to be one of the most competitive lineups they've ever had.
Yes, yes, it is. And we're looking at the competitors list right now, and also too with the addition of classic physique, which I love. It looks to be very good.
Okay, let's get into this lineup over here. First, we got the reigning
Yes,
and
sir.
first we got the reigning and defending champion Cedric McMillan, Dexter
Yeah,
Jackson, William Bonac,
yeah.
Ruli Winkler, the
Oh yeah.
returning Dennis Wolf,
Ooh, ooh. Yes.
Lina Bayeki.
Mm-hmm.
Who else we got in this lineup? Steve Kuklo,
Yeah, we got Steve Kuklo. We got Lucas Osladi.
Oslo, I think it
Let me.
is.
Yes. Justin Rodriguez. Fred
Actually,
Big Smalls.
it's not Justin Rodriguez. That's a typo over there. It's Luis Rodriguez.
Oh, Luis Rodriguez. Okay.
Yeah, that's supposed.
And
Yeah, that should be Luis Rodriguez. I think he got his pro card late 2016.
okay, okay. Also Hide Yamagichi. Everybody loves him. And oh yes, the return of the big bad Dennis Wolf. Ha ha!
Okay, now what's interesting
Yes,
about
sir.
this one? Normally, the reigning and defending champion would be the favorite going into the show, but I don't think that's the case with this one. What do you think?
I totally agree. He's reigning defending, but the competition is tough, very tough. So Cedric better be on. He better cross all his T's, dot all his I's, and he's got to come in clean, pristine, and oh so mean if he wants to repeat
Well,
because of this lineup.
with Cedric, the thing with Cedric is if this guy nails his conditioning, I don't think there's anybody that could touch him. And I think if he nails his conditioning standing next to Phil Heath is in big trouble. But the problem with Cedric McMillan has always been his conditioning. He's very unpredictable, to say the least.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, he's yes, he's inconsistent, but you know what? That can be said for just three or maybe four guys that if they stand next to Phil Heath and they hit it, they nail it, that they can beat him. I mean, Sean, they said that about Sean Roden, he's one. William Bonac now has proven himself to be one. And everybody talks about Big Ramy in the same light. So those are like the three or four guys, if, and that's the big if they nail it. And that's the whole thing with Cedric.
All right,
Is he going to come in?
all right. Now,
Is he going to come in,
go ahead.
like I said, clean, mean, and also pristine? If he does that, it's just to walk away with.
Okay, let's get right into the heart of the matter. Let's start making some
Yeah.
predictions over here. Do you have your top six
Okay.
picks for this? Don't tell me them yet, but I'm just asking you. Do you have your top six picks?
Um, I don't know if I have all six, but I can definitely give you a top four or five.
All right, let's start with this one. Who's the dark
Okay.
horse? Who's the one that's not probably not in the top of the lineup, but if he comes in, has the ability to really shake things up and put and throw a wrench into the top top placings.
I think off the cuff, Lionel Baiki.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. The guy
Yeah, because
has he has the size, the shape, the
yes,
structure.
yes,
He has
yes,
full muscle bellies. This guy, if
yes.
he really puts it together, he can really make it a nightmare for a lot of people in that show.
Yep. But as usual, the knock on him is boom, nailing that conditioning,
Okay, let's try
nailing.
and as the
But he can do.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that the knock on him is conditioning, but he can do it.
Okay, let's try to make some predictions over here. Out of the contenders we have competing this year, who do you have number
Right?
6?
Okay. All right. um, six. Okay. Based on the credibility of conditioning in the past, I would say Lionel Baiki is going to crack the top six.
Okay.
He's going to come in there. This is the year he got the invite. This is the year he's going to put it all together, and he's going to come in. He's going to crack the top six.
Well, if
He
it's
can
his,
get as top as maybe third, but I think I'll put him safely at six.
if he hits his conditioning, I'd have to agree with you, but I'm going by his track record. The one I have picked for number 6 would be Max Charles. Max Charles always seems to hit his conditioning. His weak point has always been his legs, but in his last couple of shows, his legs have come up quite a bit. And
Okay.
as far as his upper body goes, he can hold his own with almost anybody in the top tier of the competitors. What do you think about
You know
Max?
what? I can agree with that.
What do you think? What do you think about Max Charles?
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think that what you said on him was spot on. His legs have always been a weak point, so it's just how he pulls his whole physique together. Because he brings conditioning. He brings pretty good conditioning at most shows. So it's just about pulling it all together and having his legs not look too small for the rest of his physique.
Now, my only question about that one is Steve Kuklo. I've seen some recent pictures of him, and he's been looking
Right.
pretty damn good. Uh, if he lives up to the potential that he was touted to have when he first came on the scene, judging by the way he looks, this could be a toss up between him and Max Charles for 6th and 7th. I think it might go. It can go either way, really, with the two of those. If
Yeah, yeah. Well,
if Kuko
no, go ahead.
doesn't, if he doesn't match the conditioning that he's shown in these last few progress picks leading up to the show, I would go with Max Charles. If it comes in with the conditioning
Right.
that he's displayed, it's going to be a toss up between the two of them.
Yeah, and I can agree because Steve Kuklo has done some damage. In the past, he has shown up looking lethal. But while we're talking about those guys, we're not really talking about Fred Biggie Smalls.
Okay. Uh, okay. Let's talk about Fred Biggie Smalls. Give me some info on him.
Because the knock on him is just like Baiki, the conditioning. But when he pulls it together, he pulls it together. I think he they've said in the past he has weak hamstrings, but when he pulls it together, he pulls it together. And I think that's why he got an invite to come in this year.
I like
So
him.
he
I
can
like
really
him.
shake things up.
I've seen him in interviews. He's a likable person, but he's never really impressed me all that much on the stage when he stands next to the top level guys.
Okay. Okay.
Number 5.
Okay, but I still shake things up. I still think that he can shake things up. But you know what? Let's reverse it a little bit. let's go from the top down. That'll be a little easier for me. Let's go from the top down.
Okay.
So we already talked about the defending champion, the reigning and defending champion coming in. So let's go with who can pull off that second spot, if not dethrone him. I
Okay.
think
Well, who's going to fill up the
right
first
now.
spot? Well, does that mean you're dead certain that Cedric McMillan is going to pull in the first place?
Well, like I said, I'll quote Lee Haney on this, using what he said about Mike Christian leading up to the '88 Olympia. He said, "Mike, he's wishy-washy. Sometimes he's a lion, sometimes he's a pussycat." So that's the take on Cedric. Sometimes he's a lion, sometimes he's a pussycat, but he's a reigning defending. So let me go with the guy that I think can most likely knock him off if he comes in shape. And for me,
Yes.
that guy would be Rully Winkler.
Who was that?
Rully Winkler.
Actually, I think that this is going to be William Bonak's show. Uh, this guy is coming up like wildfire.
Okay.
2015, he broke the top, cracked the top 10. 2016, he shocked everybody and came in fifth in Olympia. And in 2017, he moved up to third place. And personally speak,
And some say he could have been second.
you know what? I wouldn't have had a problem with him in first place either. He was
Okay.
the truth of the matter was he was the most complete athlete on the stage that night, from front to back,
Okay.
head to toe, side to side. He was the most complete. And
Okay. Well,
Phil Heath
well,
is
I would say right now, it'll be a toss-up for first place between William Bonac and Rolly Winkle. I
think
think I've seen Rolly's progress photos. I've seen some videos with him train. He looks phenomenal. He looks beastly, and his stomach is down. It's like it was when he placed second to um, Dexter
Dexter
Jackson in the, in um
in the New York Pro.
in the Arnold. Right.
Yeah.
Correct.
Well, a lot of people thought
Correct.
he should have beat Dexter in that show also.
Yes. And I agree to an extent, because sometimes because he was behind him in the Arnold as well, and sometimes it's like you look at most improved over who's actually better. So if Rulli made like a 20% improvement from, let's say, the Arnold to the New York Pro, everybody's looking at that instead of who was actually better that night. So it's hard for me to say that Rulli should have won, but I can't take it from Rulli. Rulli brought it that night.
Okay, so
But that's my
You have William Bonac number one and Rully Winkler number two.
interchangeable.
Okay,
Interchangeable.
I
I
got.
think those will be the two big guns.
I think without a doubt it's going to be William Bonac number one.
Okay.
Like I said,
Okay. Yep.
he's
Who you have number two?
consistent. He gets better and better. And going back to the Olympia, standing next to Phil Heath.
Right.
Phil Heath normally wipes everybody out in the back shots. When he turn the
Right.
back lat spread, the back double biceps, he doesn't wipe out Bonac in the back shots. Not
Okay.
at all.
Okay. Fair enough. All
Bonac,
right.
I think, is
So,
the most complete. I don't think he's going to slip at all. He's going to bring in his best package to date, and I think he's going to walk away with top honors. Since you already gave your number
okay.
two pick, let's go to my number
Uh huh.
two pick, Dexter
Yes, that's what I was
Jackson.
about.
Dexter Jackson. It,
Really?
there's always an if factor with him because of his age, and you never know what show he's going to start to show his age. But until he does start to show his age, he's one person that you just can't count out. And he knows how to
Okay.
win. He knows how to win. If you're off a little bit, he's slipping in there and he's going to take you out. There's no doubt about it. He has
Okay.
the
Well,
experience and the
I got
know-how.
your number two. I got your number two as my number three,
Okay.
Dexter Jackson. Because Dexter Jack to me, Dexter is he reminds me of Sean Ray in the sense of Mr. Consistency.
Yeah.
Sean Ray has never really come in once he knew how to hit his peak. He never really came in too much off. And Dexter's the same way. Dexter hits
Yeah.
it and hits it and hits it. So
Yeah.
with Dexter, it's if the other competitors hit it, if they're off, Dexter will take it. But if they're spot on, because they might have size or a little better shape in certain areas, that pushes Dexter down. So that's why with Bonac and um and Ruley, I have them at flipping for number one and two. I would have to put Dexter in number three because I'm assuming if they come in spot on, Dexter would have to fall to number three.
Okay. Let's. No, number 3 and 4 for me is probably interchangeable depending on what package they bring in that night. I have Cedric McMillan and Rully Winkler. If
At three and four, okay.
If Cedric is a little bit off and Rully nails his conditioning, no doubt about it, Rully's going to be number 3. But if Cedric is not off, I don't think Rully will be able to take him out simply because he's just as freaky as he is. He's just not aesthetically pleasing to look at. He's not aesthetically pleasing to the eye, whereas Cedric Millen is very aesthetically pleasing to the eye. If his conditioning is not too far off McMillan, he's just gonna have look too pretty next to Ruley not to win, not to beat him.
Right. Okay. Okay. But okay, I will say this.
But
As
Ruley is
long as
dangerous. Ruley is very dangerous because that freaky mass that he brings in, and he has been hitting his conditioning pretty good lately.
and his stomach has been smaller. So with that said, I would put Cedric at number four. So now we have our top four. Who would you have at number five and six rounded it up?
Well, like I said in the beginning of the video, that's well, no, I picked 6 and 7. Number 5 would have to be Dennis Wolf. He's looking good, and he's going to be a sentimental favorite. As long as he doesn't have to have the size that he had before his injury. If he nails his conditioning, he's going to be a sentimental favorite, and he's going to slip in there and take the 5th place.
Hmm.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I think with his injuries and him being out for that long, it's kind of like you remember back in what was it the 95 or 96 Olympia when Flex Wheeler he had the car accident.
Yes.
And then he tried to come back, and then he decided I think the following year to come in drug free, and he placed 8th. Coming back from serious injuries are hard. We saw how, even though he was much older, Kevin Levrone, after competing in Olympia, admitting, well, I had a quad tear. So,
actually, I think Lavrone's going to Levrone might surprise us this year, coming up with in Australia. But back to Dennis Wolf.
Australia.
Back to Dennis Wolf.
But Dennis Wolf, I don't see him cracking the top 6. I would have to go with number 5 would probably be 5 and 6 would be the two guys we spoke about that could flip it on his head. Kuklo and Baiki. For me, interchangeable. Kuklo and Baiki. Interchangeable. Because, like we said, Baiki, it's about nailing it. He has a size, he has a structure. It's about nailing it. And he has not been known to nail it in the really big shows. And same thing with Kuklo. He came in hot. He blew it up. Then he kind of like fizzled and like Steve who. But he always had that potential. I think it's for him. For me, I think with Kuklo, it's a mental thing, a distraction thing, because maybe he had other things going on, other injuries or whatever it was, and things going on that didn't allow him to focus. But I think with him getting this invite, he's focused. So 5 and 6 would be interchangeable for me between him and Baiki should they hit it. But I don't see them getting past our top 4 coming in shape. If the top 4 comes in shape, they're not going to get past those guys.
Okay. So to conclude this, let's run down your top picks from 1 down to 6. Give me straight up.
Okay, like I said, number 1 and 2 interchangeable. Bonac and Rulli. Right? Either or. Number 3 would then be the Blade, Dexter Jackson. Number 4 would be the reigning defending champion. And number 5 and 6, Lionel Baiki and Steve Kuklo, interchangeable.
Okay, I'm gonna go all out. Bonac, number 1, he's gonna crush it, absolutely crush it. Dexter's not gonna show any signs of slipping, not yet. He's gonna nail number 2.
Okay.
3 and 4 is a little tough for me, but I think that I would have to edge towards Cedric McMillan and then Rulli Winkler. Number 5 is going to be Dennis, the Big Bad Wolf. And I think to round out the top 6, we're going to have Max Charles. The only exception to this would be Cedric McMillan. If this guy nails it and just absolutely hits his conditioning right on the mark, it's his show. But with his reputation, his track record, I don't think that's going to happen. And I stick with my placings.
Wow, okay, and I like that. But with Matt Charles, I could see him nipping at the 6th spot. Maybe he might drop the 7th or 8th, but I really don't think the Big Bad Wolf is going to make a big bad dent. I think he's not even going to be close. He might be like number 8th or number 9th in my book.
Okay, the Honor Classic, the first night is Thursday the 1st. It'll be over by Saturday night. We'll have our results. We'll know how accurate our predictions are, and we're going to try to get back and possibly Sunday do a wrap-up video on this Honor Classic. How does that sound, Ricky?
That sounds good to me, man.
Okay. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and watching us.
If we got...
Yes, Ricky?
I'm sorry, I lost you for a second. What did you say?
Go ahead.
Yeah. What did you say? I lost you for a second.
Okay, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and watching us. I hope you enjoyed our Arnold Classic 2018 preview. And we'll be back on Sunday, and we'll be wrapping this up. And we're going to see what the outcome is. We're going to see who got this right.
Yeah.
You want to make any bets? Ricky, you want to make any bets on this one?
No, this is too hot to make any bets. But I'll say this: even though it's a little dark on my end, Mike said that he thinks he looks better than me on video. So if there are any ladies chiming in and watching us, let me see. I don't know if you can, how good you can see me in here because it's a little dark. So we'll be
Uh,
taking votes on that too.
okay, once
uh,
again, I hope everybody enjoyed our Arnold Classic preview, and we'll be back soon with a wrap up on the show. Take care, Ricky.
yes, sir.
I'll speak to you on
All right, thank you,
Sunday,
Mike.
okay?
All right, thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me
Okay.
here.
Adios. Bye bye.